Hello, you fine denizens of the internet. I'm Brian, and today we're gonna give some advice. We're looking at r/am I the jerk? So our first letter is from Am I the jerk? I fired someone for pretending to be the manager. So I'm the manager of a construction company set up by my parents before they retired a few years ago, and although I'm relatively young to be running it, 28, I think I'm doing pretty well. Around 6 months ago, a friend of my father's lost his job, and because of his age, mid-50s, he was having trouble finding other work, so I was asked to give him a job. So I did because I knew the guy and had a lot of experience in the area. As soon as he started, I noticed him either not listening to me or just rolling his eyes whenever I took charge, and he would occasionally make comments like, "I know what I'm doing," and "I've been doing this longer than you." But I ignored this because I figured it must be hard for him taking orders from someone almost half his age, so I mostly ignored it until yesterday. Yesterday, I was having a few issues with one of our clients, nothing major, we just couldn't decide on the best way to proceed with the job, and he suddenly comes out with, "Actually, can I just talk to your boss so I can make sure there's no misunderstandings?" So I, slightly surprised, responded with, "Oh, sorry if I never made it clear, but I'm the manager." And his face instantly turned into a glare and he said, "Come on, kid, don't try and pull that. I'm fully aware that he's the manager." And he pointed straight at my father's friend. At this point, I asked the client if that man had been saying he's the manager. He confirmed that he had been under the assumption that he was since the start of the job, and he had also been discussing details of the job with him as well. So as you can expect, I go and talk to my father's friend and asked him if he's been pretending to be in charge. And he didn't even deny it, and he started trying to claim that he knows how to run a company better anyway. So I fired him on the spot in front of all the other staff and the client. And now I'm getting the third degree from both parents. So did I overact or what? P.S. Sorry for the long post and possibly bad spelling. I'm dyslexic, lol. Well, Vinny, my answer to this is that you are a little bit of a jerk here. I'm going to say that you're at least 2 out of 5, maybe 3 out of 5 on the jerky scale. And the reason for it is not necessarily because you fired him, not necessarily because you had trouble with him, but how you handled the situation. You didn't fire him in a professional way. You should have pulled him aside later when everyone was gone and reprimanded him there and allowed him to have a time to speak and say his bit about why he felt that he needed to, pretend to be the boss. I mean, you did hire him because he was experienced, so that experience is good, and him undermining you is certainly bad, and he definitely gets a 5 out of 5 for his jerkiness. This is a hard situation in a lot of ways, and it's hard for him, and your parents shouldn't be telling you how to run the company. And certainly, him undermining your authority here was extremely problematic, and you were doing him a favor by hiring him. So, you did a lot of good things here. But again, I think the way you handled this and the way you fired him was completely out of line, and one of the pieces of advice I can give in the future is you should discipline in private and praise in public. When you disciplined him in public like that, you showed not only your staff, but you also showed the client that you were willing to do this in public. This should have been a very private matter, and you should have asked to pull him aside, and you should have said, "Blank, I need to speak with you right now," and pulled him into an office. That would have shown that you were, one, in charge, and you had the authority. And that would have also accomplished what you were attempting, I think, to do here, is reestablish authority. And that's understandable for someone who's young like you, because you want to be able to show that you're in charge, you want to show that you have the authority, but again, I think that you went about it the wrong way. Again, there's no denying that your father's friend acted completely unprofessional here. He should not have undermined your authority, but again, you did act like a little bit of a jerk the way you handled the situation. Our next letter. Am I the jerk for making a low-effort meal for my vegan cousin? And this is from Throwaway. I had my family over for dinner a few nights ago and wanted to prepare something nice since I really love cooking. This is the first time we've all gotten together since Christmas, and my cousin let me know in advance that she went vegan at the start of January as one of her New Year's resolutions. It's something she's talked about doing for a while, but she didn't make the jump until recently. One of my best friends got me a nice set of ramekins as a Christmas gift, and I decided to test them out by making some smoked salmon soufflés for dinner. I was a little nervous because I had never tried this recipe before, but they turned out great. I also made a devil's chocolate cake for dessert. For the side dish, I put together a salad with lettuce, arugula, mixed berries, and strawberry balsamic vinegar. It was really tasty, and I thought it would be a good idea to make enough so everyone could have it as a side and my cousin could have a large portion for her meal. I also made sure to keep the dressing separate from the salad because I knew it had honey in it. My cousin said she appreciated that I kept her in mind, but that it seemed like her dinner was an afterthought, and the salad wasn't a meal on its own. She said that if I had told her I was only making her a salad, she would have brought a dish of her own to share. This really rubbed me the wrong way because I feel like I did go out of my way to include her. Am I the jerk? Well, Throwaway, I'm going to have to say that you are the jerk here. I'm going to give you 4 out of 5 for your jerky level, and here's why. You said at the beginning of the letter that you told her you would have a meal for her. You admitted that this salad was a side dish. You mixed together a few leaves, threw some berries into it, and said, oh, here's a salad. You didn't even have the courtesy to provide her with a vegan salad dressing. So, you basically just gave her leaves. And I think this is problematic because you should have told her that you were just going to make her a salad, and that way she could have brought her own food to share as well. I think that it does seem like you gave her salad, it does really seem like you made her salad as an afterthought. And I think that it would have been different if she had invited herself over, or if, if you had made her a dish and she'd been moaned how she didn't like it, or any number of things here. But you really should have done a little bit better job at making a meal for her as well. I'm really glad that your new recipe turned out well, and your guests are probably also happy with that. But you have to, when someone has a dietary restriction of some form or another, you really have to keep them in mind when you're making a meal. And again, you invited her, and she said that she would have brought her own dish had she known that she was just going to get a salad. And there's nothing more disappointing than going to a meal and sitting down and realizing that you can't actually eat it. So I'm going to give her 0 on the jerky scale because she had no way of knowing. You didn't even have bread for her, it sounds like. You just had leaves of salad, and that's it. So I really think that you should do a little bit better job. You should talk with your cousin here, and you should kind of help her in the future know what to expect for meals. One thing is that I actually have a brother, and he sometimes goes on different types of diets, and one thing that he said is that he didn't want to eat refined sugar. And this is perfectly fine, and so I emailed him ahead of time to let him know what the menu was. I think doing something like that will help alleviate any kind of issues that you have in the future with this. That way your guest knows what to expect. And that way, also, if any kind of dietary restrictions change, you can be kept abreast of it. Anyhow, good luck, and I hope that you have a better time next time you host dinner. Our next letter is, am I the jerk for asking my bridesmaid to temporarily change her vibrant hair color for my color-schemed wedding? And this is from Dream Day Throwaway. My cousin Ellie is to be in my wedding party in June. The ongoing issue is that my wedding has a blue and green peacock theme, and the guests have been asked to follow this color scheme with their clothes. Hair wasn't originally included at all in the color scheme, but my cousin Ellie has natural, bright ginger hair. I would never ask someone to permanently change their hair for my wedding. I know that would be bonkers. So I suggested some temporary hair dye. But Ellie argued that she had been growing her hair for 6 years and doesn't want to risk the color not washing out. I thought this was ridiculous because it literally says washes out in like 14 washes. But Ellie says because her hair is completely natural color, it might take strongly to her hair. So I gave up on that avenue and suggested a wig. It is one day, one single day, and there are some amazing wigs these days. I had a look on Instagram and you wouldn't even be able to tell. But she said she would feel self-conscious and weird wearing a wig, and that because her hair is butt length, it might not sit well on her head. She won't dye it, she won't cover it up. I really don't want to come across as a bridezilla, but butt-length flaming red hair will destroy the wedding photos and ruin the color scheme completely. I'm at a loss. I can't cut her hair from the wedding because my mom would murder me, but I can't have a freaking Meridia ruining the photos. Am I the jerk for asking this of her for just one single day? And there's a too long didn't read. Bridesmaid has flaming red hair and is refusing to hide it for one single day for my wedding that has a color scheme and will clash with it. And a final edit, Ellie has dropped out of the wedding because we couldn't reach a compromise, so it doesn't matter anymore. I now have to deal with my mom and aunt chewing me out over it. Well, Dream Day Throwaway, I'm going to have to give you 4 out of 5 on the jerky scale, and your cousin, I'm going to give a 1 out of 5. I don't know. I don't even know if she deserves that much. She probably deserves a 0 out of 5. The thing is that when you invite someone to be in your wedding, you invite that person. Her hair is natural colored. Her hair is what she's been working on for years. And I think it's a little unreasonable to say, I want you to change so that you'll match for my wedding. I think that you've created a lot of bad blood here between you and your cousin, and I think that you should reconsider your position and hopefully ask her and apologize to go back to your wedding. I think that this is a hard situation for you because you have your vision of how you want your dream wedding to be, and that's understandable. You're spending a lot of money, time, and energy planning this wedding, but this is one little thing, and it sounds like your cousin really wants her hair and really loves her hair and takes good care of it. And so I think that what you need to do is you need to look past this, re-invite her, apologize, and essentially say, I am sorry, I just got over my head. I was so involved with this wedding planning that I just freaked out and became unreasonable. Will you please come back to my wedding? This will help avoid any further issue with getting chewed out by your mother and your aunt, and I think it'll smooth things over. And, we all make poor decisions every once in a while. We all have lapses in judgment, and I think in this case you can definitely learn from this mistake, and I think that you can fix things here. It's not too late. Anyhow, I hope you have a good wedding, and I hope that everything works out fine for you, and keep in mind all what's going on here. Not everything has to be absolutely perfect for a wedding, even if you think it's going to clash. Alright folks, that's it for Brian Advises. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, consider giving it a thumbs down. If you have some advice that you want me to give for you personally, write something in the comments and I'll happily give you some advice. If you have other articles or letters that you want me to advise on, link them down below and I will do that. Thanks for watching and have a great day.